Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Pred getting back up to speed ahead of the upcoming weekend of Major 2 qualifiers. OpTic Pred FaZe tomorrow evening, but according to what Pred was doing to Drazah Intimates over the last couple of days, maybe things are looking rather positive for the Green Wall. Pred looking back on form to some extent. How's it going to translate though into the team play? And that's what really matters, as we well know with Hook on the roster over the last month or so. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. Starting here with a couple of updates really around the world of gentlemen's agreements and the decisions that Treyarch and the pros and ranked play have made. So this map Bounty, I said it from day one, it looks beautiful and I wish that it was good, but unfortunately it ain't good. And that's what Dashy says anyway. It's not a bad map, it just needs a bit more. This is one of the best looking maps in the game. It's kind of frustrating because last year, Sledgehammer Games produced some genuinely great looking maps. Vista, Rio to some degree, but certainly Six Star, as we know. And those maps were also excellent for competitive play. I think even Sledgehammer said they designed those maps based on some of the classic Treyarch maps from great COD titles. For whatever reason, Treyarch seeming capable of doing the same thing. Dealership honestly might not be bad. And the pros are probably realising, too late, that maybe Dealership actually could have had some consideration, and it maybe still could. But as we know, the qualifiers begin tonight, and therefore nothing's changing in the map set for now, and it's probably not going to change until at least Major 3. So, you know, maybe they missed their boat on that one to some extent. But even then, Dealership and Bounty are still in ranked. You know, you can still play them. What you can't use in ranked as of today is any of the attachments on the Jackal that the pros have just banned. Now, this is, you know, controversial to say the very least, I would say here, because it's been now officially replicated into ranked play what the pros have decided. The interesting thing is that actually there are some things that you can use, that the pros can use, that they've banned here. So this has annoyed a lot of people, and I think for very good reason actually. All barrels other than the Gain Twist are banned, all of the muzzles are banned, and of course all of the fire mods as well. So this is very controversial, right? Because the pros have decided that this is what they want to do. And also it's notable to say that the recoil springs, they're actually allowed. Like, the pros are playing with them. But Treyarch, I don't know, they got it wrong, or they calculated the GAs or something, and therefore that's banned in ranked, but yet the pros are perfectly capable of using them. And the Jackal, at least in ranked now, is pretty pointless, because the pros have made the Jackal worse, but they've also said, oh, come on guys, don't use the C9, which is the alternative SMG, keep using the Jackal, just make it weaker. And that's what the pros have decided to do. Is it the best decision? No. Is it a good idea? I get it from the pro perspective, because it's a relatively easy way for the pros to try and balance their own game. At least that's how they see it. Instead of unbanning this gun, unbanning that gun, and then running the risk of, you know, some issues, they say, all right, we think the SMG's too strong, we're going to make it slightly weaker. And I'm not sure I agree with that. That's what they've decided to do. And they've gone about it in the easiest way. They just ban a few attachments. Is it the best way? No. But is it the way that makes most sense for them? I understand. The problem is that casual players like myself who want to play some competitive 4v4 stuff, they have to now follow this. Does everyone want to use that exact meta? Do they want to use the exact SMG the pros are using? It kind of brings me back to even what happened in World War II. So back in World War II, the bar, which was a very strong AR in that game, it could 3-shot kill. It was stronger up close than the STG, but the STG was generally the more popular AR towards the end of the title. The pros banned the long barrel attachment on the bar. That was their decision to balance the gun a bit better. And that was, you know, fair enough. The pros, they decided that would balance the game better. But in ranked, in whatever, it was still fine to use. And I feel like that was perfectly okay. What frustrates me, really, about Treyarch being, I don't know why they are so on the ball here, to such an extent that at times they even go over the mark about replicating what the pros are using, whereas we're playing maps the pros aren't using. They're banning guns like the KSV, which are perfectly viable, not, you know, going to be massively meta options, but guns that people may want to use. what frustrates me really is that there can be casual players who don't play competitive at all, and they decide to come over from 6v6 team deathmatch and they play a bit of ranked play. They come in, they like the Jackal, and they're like, I can't even use the attachments I want to use in it. Screw this, I'll just go back to pubs, right? Like, that's the concern. I understand why some GAs may be necessary to enforce in ranked play, but stuff like that, it only limits the potential, I would say, of the competitive scene. Does it really matter? Like, do we need to be playing the exact same meta, maps, attachments, everything? Like, sure, if the maps and the modes are the same, you know, within reason, and most people are going to use the same guns anyway, within reason, I think it's probably fine. But yeah, intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. It's annoyed a lot of people, and I think for very understandable reasons, actually. This, though, was very interesting yesterday as well. It was spotted last night that Omit were now scrimming with Encourage instead of Super. iLLeY, Encourage, Johnny, and Hicksy. And the rumour has it that Super may be trialling or subbing in, potentially, for the starting Heretics lineup. Now, this, of course, very interesting, given the fact that they literally just came top 3 at this big tournament. But according to Slayer, Super was on his stream, and he turned his stream off and said, I need to tell you guys something, can you mute your stream, Johnny? And then an hour later, this happens. So, yeah, the theory goes that he's either been called up to the Miami team. Now, let's not forget, today's Friday. The matches begin today. Miami don't play today, but to make a change one day before the matches is something you wouldn't normally see. So there's a couple of possibilities here. One is that the team got back from Madrid and they've not been able to replicate their performances online, and, you know, maybe makes sense. Like, we looked at their performance of the Major Miami. Would I expect them to come top 3 again if there was another tournament tomorrow? No. I think they played very well. They had a great run. They beat OpTic. Of course, they lost to Thieves twice. The second time was pretty emphatic. Beating Rocker Game 5 round 11, nearly getting full sailed, and then beating Ravens was an impressive victory for sure. But still, and Lucky played really well on LAN. And Super, if he came in, would be expected to be an AR. Like, you'd expect him to replace Lucky or Rencore. You're not going to replace Rencore, don't imagine. He's probably been your best player, maybe apart from Real. Lucky was not great, but then he really turned up in the Major. So it's very interesting that what exactly has happened to lead to this, because you come top 3 at the Major, you're not going to make a roster change really, are you? You're at least going to run it out for a little bit longer. Certainly not one day before matches. So that's why there's been speculation that maybe something's happened and he has to sub in for the weekend or whatever. So we'll see what happens. I imagine they'll confirm something relatively soon. We'll see the matchups they play in the relatively near future. This also I wanted to go through was the community update with Daniel says it was recorded Miles and Daniel here in Madrid. They recorded it, I believe, the Thursday, Friday night or whatever, and they were discussing a few things about what's happened lately. The major one that people will be noticing here is the update they gave on the minor. So you guys know we had a minor at the start of January during the Major 1 qualifiers, and they're doing it again here at Major 2. After 2 weeks of qualifiers, there is a minor tournament, and then another couple of weeks of qualifiers before we go to Dallas. Now, the only real change here is they're changing it from a best of 5 up to a best of 7 in the finals, which was talked about being a good deal. They're not going to change a single limb. I think, personally, that's fine, and I'd love to see more of these minors, to be honest. The other interesting thing that he mentioned, Daniel, was about how the Call of Duty League helps fund and subsidize the events. They don't want to run them themselves. The teams, they want them to run them, but they will give the teams money to help them towards doing so. Daniel said, using kind of fake numbers, but you know, he said what we used to do was give the teams, let's say, you know, $200 to run their main event, and let's say $100 to run their challengers event. Whereas now, instead of giving the teams $200, $100, they give the teams $350, equivalent anyway, to do both, effectively. So it's interesting. They've upped the support from 200 plus 100 equals 300 to 350. That's at least the way that he describes it. So it's up by a good significant chunk of, you know, nearly 17 odd percentage or whatever points it would be, up from where it used to be. But the teams who host the events can choose where they deploy that money. So if they want to, you know, not do a Challengers event and just pump all of that resource into the main league event, which maybe OpTic were planning to do for their major before maybe the Falcons have stepped in and funded it. Who knows what that situation is, but we think there is going to be a Challengers tournament at Major 2 in Dallas. Then that's an option they have. So it's interesting just to hear that perspective. Obviously, it's not $200, $100, $250. you can add probably 3 zeros to those numbers and they might be more accurate. That's the understanding that we have for now, but I wanted to share a couple of clips here from Pred. He was getting involved in scrims, obviously, with OpTic over the last couple of days. We really have no idea how those have gone. What we do know is that he was playing 8s to reasonably good effect. He was taking some pros hostage, and there was another clip I wanted to share, actually a series of clips here from 8, pretty much just some highlights, with a special one on Vault, and a few others actually, where Pred looks back to 4.
I can kill top piano, I can kill top piano. I got a message.
Okay, nice. Nice like that. Flip, by the way.
The fucking shit.
I got him. Top plat, guys, one of them.
Give me a second, I'll kill that flat.
Top plat just laying down and top plat.
There's hella of them going their side of me.
Dead.
Top trophy, top trophy.
Shit on bad. How much up?
You can pinch.
Yeah.
Closer side of me. Top trophy, top trophy, top trophy. Hurry.
I'm spawn killing him,
Low
Make sure you block, yeah?
Low and deep. You're the block, Austin.
Yeah.
We just traded.
Oh my
One more
god.
top. Low bed. Move in the back on me.
I'm in P2, I'm in P2.
Yeah.
P2 draws, shit on bad.
Right above us, there's spawning stone, right above us, bro.
I'm happy 3. Yo, watch top cat, from P2 door.
I hear.
Yeah. I gotta shake. One more
Running up. Whoa, I'm new!
Couch is on you. And top AC.
Couch is dead, They're looking for me still.
I'm hitting underground too, fucking on.
One's P1 on me. I'm still P2, they're looking for me.
Top AC is absolute. He's absolute down.
Shit on bad, they can't kill me.
Yo, watch top hold, Drazah. Yo, low piano.
I got finesse.
2 piano.
Piano dead.
I'm not gonna use it.
Piano, shit on bad again.
No.
They can't kill me out of this spot.
Yeah, they're in time. One more P3.
I'm dead. Playing for Drazah out,
Laying down outer.
Outer, dead.
Mid.
Absolute middle, go.
Where'd he go?
P1.
Dead, I got 2.
One bullet. Nice 3.
Let's go outer tower, guys.
Somebody get the guy.
I have back tower, dead.
I
I kind of have your help P1 too.
You went to dub, slash, that was in mesh. Drazah going P1, dead. Come on me, Joe.
So Pred looking good, should be no real surprise. One of the most talented players that we've seen come into the league for a long time, and there's a very good reason why he was a crucial member of OpTic's World Championship winning squad last year. Is he a better fit for the team than Hook? I think undoubtedly yes, on paper, hypothetically, but you know, not even hypothetically, like we've seen it happen when their results last year with OpTic, apart from Major 4, were far better than they'd maybe done previously, and of course with Hook they came to make the most recent tournaments, all that type of stuff. Is it going to work? Are they going to be able to recapture the magic? Are these issues that they seem to have outside of the game or even inside the game with Pred been resolved? What's going to happen next? We're going to see in a pretty crucial set of matches this upcoming weekend. This is what the Flank did, by the way, putting together their current tier list in the CDL. I kind of like this. I don't think it's bad. I actually think that the tier list we did on Breaking Point was very, very similar, if not nigh on identical to this in some ways. I do think when you look at this, though, you've got to consider it 2 ways. Either you look at it, okay, what are the rankings right now? If there was a tournament today, what would the results we'd expect to be? Or do you say, you know, what we're expecting the results to be in a few weeks' time, especially when you're considering the new rosters, right? So, you know, will Miami fall off? Will Ravens fall off? Will OpTic get better with Pred? These are interesting questions. I think the list that we had was very close to this, other than I think we put OpTic and Toronto in the A tier next to Ravens. I don't think there's, you know, enough discrepancy between those 3 teams if they were to play a number of matchups against each other to say that one is better than the other. Maybe it feels unfair to have Heretics below those guys, given that they outplaced all of them at the major. But, you know, I don't think that one big surprise result should be, you know, weighted that heavily. It should be weighted to some degree heavily, but as I say, if there was another tournament today, what would happen? It's a matter for debate, isn't it, right? But I feel like these tier lists, what you don't want them to be is just a list of placings from the major, because that doesn't consider any of the nuance about some of the matchups that we have seen unfold. We do, though, have some matchups this evening. Again, pretty killer job here from the Falcons social team. Thought this was kind of nice. They play Boston today, and these are the games. So speaking of Miami real quick, they play one game against Rocket tomorrow, so we'll see if anything happens with their roster then. But these are the matches this evening. Thieves play Ravens. Big game. I mean, Breach play Falcons. you know, we're not expecting Falcons to win that series. FaZe play Surge. I mean, it's a brand new Surge team. Of course, they've got Neptune into the team now. We're not expecting them to win that series. Thieves Ravens, though, is interesting because we saw it at the Major, and Thieves 50-point clubbed them, both hard points pretty much. But it was 3-1, right? Ravens in Search and Destroy. I think Thieves will win. I actually think Thieves will win quite emphatically, but I may be wrong on that. So intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.